Hello, and welcome back to another video. Hi, if you didn't know, I am Toasted Ideas. Welcome to the video, or welcome to the channel if you've never been here. Please subscribe. I'm kidding. Subscribe until only when I have approved of your subscription, I guess. Man, that is corny as hell. But I'm gonna continue with it. Anywho, I wanted to actually talk about something. And this is completely subject to Canada, which is where I live. And it's not really subject to anywhere else, or at least not that I know of. I mean, the principle is most definitely the same thing in other countries, but it's very blatant in Canada, is the difference. It's blatant in Canada, whereas other countries, it's not so obvious, but what I want to talk about is how I find it weird how I we have a government that is I'm very perplexed on the government. I mean, Canada, I have my own reasons to be perplexed about Canada's government just in general, but like they enacted the whole entire MAID Act, MAID Act, which for those who do not know, is an acronym for Medical Assistance in Unaliving. I'm going to use that word because I don't know if the other word is okay on YouTube. Probably not. Most likely not. In fact, it's most definitely not. But I want. So I looked this up, and there's a few things that I make note here. First things first, I want, like, because I value my life at a lot, but isn't it weird how our organs go for more than our actual life? Like, me, man, I'm already screwing myself over for editing. Ugh. Me, I cost less to unalive or to be assisted in unaliving than I. Okay, I'm wording this wrong. What I mean is, like, I am more worth. My organs are worth more than myself, which is a weird statement to say. So, because the MAID Act is a very good depiction as to how much they actually view us, the people, at with how much we cost per se. Like, medical assistance in unaliving for a cleaner, which I'm suspecting is a person who takes care of your body, can range from $25 to $90 per hour. But then on here, your death, your unaliving, you cost the government in general less money to unalive yourself than to actually seek out medical help. Like, everyone talks about how Canadians, or like just in general more libertarian countries, pay nothing in medical bills and stuff compared to, I don't know, per se America, because their healthcare is expansive there. But I find it weird. Like, everyone talks about how cheap it is, and yet, do you actually think that Canada cares about you? Because it costs less for you to unalive than for you to actually get help. You, in the grander scope of the government eye, do not matter. Which, I mean, it's a fair assessment, because the government is a very large thing, the whole entire pyramid thing of like who is on the tippy top. It makes sense, but I don't know. It's very backwards. It's backwards to me. Like you you go to Canada because it has cheap medical care, and yet the medical care doesn't give a shit about you. Like, in fact, they would prefer if you weren't there. Unless it is for, in fact, unaliving. Um, but I mean, because your organs, man, that is a white screen. I'm sorry for blinding you guys. I'm gonna try and fade that so it's a lot nicer. But I just blinded myself. But your heart can go for, I mean, from this uh, paper page thing, whatever you want to call this website, I found your heart, for example, can go for around $1 million in the US. $1 million right there. Bing, bam, boom. You got the dollars to your name. But your own self, you cost nothing. You have, like, no worth to yourself as a person. It's your organs that cost or give a lot of money. It's a weird disconnect of how towards the government, I myself as a person do not cost a lot, or that I'm not worth a lot, but also in the eye of the government, my organs themselves are worth a lot. It's a very, and also, who calculated this? I want to know who actually calculated that. That's a weird calculation, and I want to know. I want to know who calculated that, because that's weird and I don't like it, and it's scary, and it brings up horrible thought to my brain. I don't like it. But, like, for the criteria, you don't even have to have, like, not even, like, I kind of skimmed over this thing, so not too smart in this whole entire made act. I didn't read the whole entire thing, but in order to be eligible for this, you have to be 18, which, I mean, it's a start, but not really. I guess children are worth more than adults, I guess. Which kind of makes sense, but kind of doesn't. Is someone who is eligible for publicly funded health care. So it's not even the government paying for you to unalive. It's the public health care that is funding you to unalive yourself. It has to be of your own choice. So it's very weird. It's very weird. And you know what's the funniest thing is, after skimming this, there were a lot of things that went against this act even being a thing. But the parliament pushed forward for this to exist. So they want you to unalive. They don't want you to live because you save them a buttload of money to off yourself. You save them a lot of money by you going away, which is very weird. The government wants you to lay your life down if there is ever a military thing of requiring that, but they don't care about you just dying. They just don't care about you doing that. They want you to lay your life down for them, but they don't care about you. It's kind of like an abusive relationship, perhaps. The very hyperbolic statement. Well, maybe not. No, it's a hyperbolic statement because the government in a whole is just a term. It's not an actual person, but I don't know. Seems very much like I'm being spanked right now every single time that something new terrible about Canada's government comes up. But go figure. And you know what's the funny thing is mental illness is currently excluded from being eligible to um unalive yourself. But as of or until March 17th, you will be able to unalive yourself just off of mental illness, which you could literally, I almost, I mean, knowing Canada, you could probably just say I have depression. You don't need to get it diagnosed, don't need to get anything. You just probably just say I have a mental illness and then just off yourself. So terrible. So terrible how people in the eyes of the government are just drawn down to the ones and zeros of money. I mean, it makes sense from a governmental position, but at the same time, it's terrible to think of. We pay taxes towards the government only for the government to take a big dump in our mouth. It's upsetting. It's upsetting. Because I view my life obviously more worth than just my organs. Because if it wasn't for me personally, then my organs wouldn't exist. But and then we pay the government to quote unquote care about us, to protect us with their services, but then this happens, they don't care about us, they just care about our organs. It's weirdly materialistic. It's materialistic but in a weird sense, but it still is. Not caring about the individual people, just caring about the wider mass of money that is drawn to us. I think one of the things I mean there is a thing here. I did read it earlier. How long? How much does it cost? Okay. Uh, yep. Okay. Yeah. See. Presented the results of 2021 under the current legislation. When there's so much reading, I hate it. The projected gross reduction in healthcare costs amounts to that much money, while the cost of administering MAID is at. Look at that. Actually, oh, what did I click? Whoops. Actually, getting yourself health costs, like, from a government position. This makes sense because they're cutting costs, but at the same time, you getting help is seen as a detriment to you just unaliving yourself, or compared to you unaliving yourself. It's so depressing, so depressing, and it's quite sad if I'm being honest. Like, are there actual numbers on this? How many people? What would the word be? Um, uh, enroll in MAID. That's not the right word. Whoa. What? That's terrible. Oh no. Oh no, I don't like that. Ugh. Oh, that's gross. Oh man. How is I didn't that's not what I wanted to look up, but I don't like it. Whoa. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Wow. That was in 2022. Could you imagine if that was in 2020, how much higher that number would probably have been? Oh my god. Whoa. Okay. Wow. How is that? I don't like this. I don't like it. It says have received. Wow. Wow. That is a lot of people who the government is saving money on. Yikes. 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 I don't like it's a weird disconnect. I don't like it, but at the same time, it makes sense from a governmental position because you just cost them money. But at the same time, it's so terrible to think that they just narrow you down to just ones and zeros on a I don't know, You're just numbered down to numbers. That's it. Average age of the individuals, 73.1 years. Wow. I mean, I can actually understand that in a slight sense, but from an individualistic point, but that's also just me. 86% of people who suffered from the loss of ability to. Wait, what? What is this? Man, why do they always open up with a white screen? I hate it. Nature of suffering. Okay. In 2022, it's reported that around 86% of people who received medically made in Canada suffered the loss of ability to engage in meaningful activities. Wait, what? 86% of people suffered the loss of ability to engage in meaningful life activities. Um, what? This statistic illustrates the percentage of people who received MAID who suffered from select conditions in Canada. What are select conditions? Can someone tell me that one? I actually want to know that. What is select? Ay ay ay. I had a thought in my brain, but then I read that and it completely just threw my brain. Interesting. Okay, no, I did find that out. I was about to say I want to know how many people have actually taken the pill or taken the act, and apparently that is how many people have decided to unalive in 2022. How great, fun. I don't know, is it just me who thinks that this is weird? I hope not. I hope I'm not the only person. Like, it's the safest country you could probably ever be in also happens to be the one country that's saying, please unalive yourself. That's just depressing. What does that actually say about society? That's something we should be asking. What does that say that we live in a time where this is actually a thing that exists? People used to do it for free, but now the government is paying you to do it. Oh, that's a statement and a half. What did I just say? Oh, that's gross. Ugh. I don't like that thought. Oh, man. Used to do it for free, but now you're getting paid to do it. Paid to administer it as well. Paid to commit, paid to admit. Wow, that's a statement, and I don't like it. But it exists. Do you agree? I don't know. Do I agree? Do I agree that I think this is weird? Yes, I do agree this is weird, but it's such a weird disconnect because it makes sense from a governmental position, but I hate it from a individualistic position. I also hate it on a political spectrum because I Canada is probably the safest country on planet Earth, if I were to guess, or safest country compared to how large of a country it is. Because I mean, if you want to go to a safe country, you'd probably just go to Switzerland or something like that. But by the amount of size that Canada is, I would say it's the safest of its size. And yet they're also paying people. They're paying you to unalive, and they're paying people to unalive you. And they're actively going towards you being to you unaliving yourself. What a world we live in. What a world we live in. Anywho, if you agreed or disagreed, go down in the comments. I actually don't know what you're disagreeing on or what you're agreeing on. I don't know. Is there a way you can agree on these? I'm thinking about this while I'm making this statement, and it's a weird one. How can you? I didn't even say anything you can agree. Oh no, I did say something you agree with. Do you agree with me saying it's weird? Do you agree with me saying it's a disconnect? Or do you disagree with those things? Go down in the comments. Say what you want to say, please. I actually want to know your thoughts on this. But while you're down there, hit that subscribe button, join the fellow community of bread bags, and also hit that like button so that people who would not have seen this video can see this video so that they can join the crew of inside the bread box, because we need more bread. Prove me wrong. But I also hope to see you in the next video, and until then, have a good one.